Welcome to A Light That Never Fades. I am your host, Kennedy Osule. Education is often misunderstood. Many believe it is merely the acquisition of knowledge, the learning of sciences, languages, or arts. But from a higher perspective and according to the divine teaching, education is far more profound. It is the process of revealing the hidden treasures within every human heart and the development of those qualities and virtues that distinguish man from the animal. In the words of the Bahá'í writings, education is the fundamental necessity of humanity, and without it, man will be not only inferior to the brute creation, but even as dead. This truth is most powerful when we consider the education and upbringing of children. A child is a trust committed by God unto the parents. Within that child lies a mind rich in gems of inestimable value. Education alone can cause those gems to shine and enable humanity to benefit therefrom. If, however, that education is neglected or if it is misunderstood, those precious qualities remain hidden or worse, are transformed into negative traits that bring harm to the individual and society. We begin today with heavy hearts, reflecting on the tragic loss of young lives and the pain caused when youth turn cruel or violent. These events are not accident. They are the results of a long process of formation. Today we will explore exactly how character is built, the dangerous confusion between love and intelligence, the true meaning of discipline, and the absolute necessity of training the young in the ways of virtue. We will see clearly that the happiness of mankind, the peace of the world, the progress of civilization depend entirely upon education, and the first and most essential school of education is the home. Welcome to our first part on the roots of character, how traits are formed. Dear listener, have you ever looked at an adult who is difficult to deal with? Someone who is rude, who refuses to take correction, who feels entitled to everything but responsible for nothing, and wondered, how did they become this way? We often think that bad behavior or poor character appears suddenly like a storm coming out of a clear sky. But the truth is, character is built slowly, brick by brick, from the earliest years of life. It is not an accident, it is a process. It is a project that begins the moment a child starts to interact with the world around them. Think about the early years. When a small child, perhaps 5 years old, speaks sharply or talks back to an elder or a parent, how do we respond? Sometimes in our desire to be proud or to see strengths in our children, we smile or laugh and say, "Look at this one, they are tough just like me." We mistake boldness for virtue and defiance for confidence. We think we are celebrating their spirit, but in reality we are planting a seed. We are telling them it is okay to be disrespectful. It is okay to disregard the authority of those who guide you. The writings of the faith tells us clearly, the roots of all good and evil lie in character, and character is formed in childhood. If we do not guide those roots while they are young and tender, they will grow wild, twisted, and destructive as they mature. As the child grows, patterns continues. At 10 years old, they may become angry, throw a tantrum, or refuse to follow rules in public. If we remain silent, if we do not step in to teach them balance, respect, and how to regulate their emotions, we are telling them, your will is the only will that matters. You do not need to adjust to the world must adjust to you. Then comes adolescence, a critical stage of transition. At 15, perhaps, they challenge a teacher, speak out of turn, or break boundaries. And instead of working with the school to correct and guide, some parents rush to defend, to justify, to protect the child from every discomfort or consequence. We say, do not correct them, do not upset them, do not hurt their feelings. But in doing so, we rob them of the greatest lesson they will ever learn, that action have consequences and that no one is above the law, above respect, or above correction. We read that unto every father had been enjoined the instruction of his son, and this is a binding command. Neglect not it, and be not of them that transgress. When we defend every fault, when we refuse to allow correction, we are not protecting them, we are failing in our instruction, because by the time that child reaches 25 or 30 of age, we see the result. We wonder why they cannot keep a job, because they argue with every supervisor and cannot accept feedback. We wonder why they cannot sustain relationships, because they believe they are never wrong. We wonder why they feel the world owes them a living, owes them respect, owes them everything, while they owe nothing to anyone. They did not happen overnight. This was installed early. It was installed by well-meaning parents and adults who confused love with permissiveness. We said, let them express themselves, but we never asked, express themselves into what? Freedom without guidance is not liberty, it is license, and license leads to chaos for the individual and for society. Dear listener, to the second part, let's see how love, permissiveness, and the true meaning of discipline occurs. This brings us to a very important distinction that lies at the heart of our discussion today: the difference between intelligence and education, between spoiling a child and loving a child. Because there is a mistaken idea that to be kind means to never say no. To be a loving parent means to remove every obstacle, every difficulty, every correction from the path of a child. We hear phrases like, my child should never be upset, or do not shout at them, or correct them. But is this truly love? To be honest, is it? In the Holy Writings, we are told, ye are the trees of my garden. Ye must bring forth goodly and wondrous fruits, that ye yourselves and others may profit therefrom. A gardener who truly loves a tree does not let it grow however it wants. They prune it, they guide its branches, they protect it from pests, and they train it to grow straight and strong. If they leave it wild and untended too, it will become a tangled bush, bearing no fruit, and eventually it will be of no use to anyone. Because discipline is not beating, it's not cruelty, it's not harshness. Discipline is training. It is teaching boundaries. It is helping a child understand that there are limits in the world. It is teaching them that no is a complete statement. It is teaching them that apologizing is not weakness, but a sign of great strength and nobility of character. It is teaching them that respecting people is not optional. It is very foundation of human relationships. We often make dangerous substitutions in our minds, like we let them talk back to elders and we call it confidence. But true confidence is built on knowledge and virtue, not on arrogance. We let them break rules and we call it creativity, but true creativity is used to build and beautify, not to destroy or disobey. We let them disrespect boundaries and we call it independence, but true independence means being able to govern oneself, to control one's own passions and desires, and to act rightly even when no one is watching. And we must realize that that which is desirable in childhood is obedience, and that which is desirable in youth is purity and wisdom, and that which is desirable in maturity is justice and wisdom. These qualities, obedience, purity, justice, are not born naturally. They must be taught. They must be cultivated. When we refuse to discipline, when we refuse to correct, we are essentially saying, I do not want to go through the discomfort of teaching you. I do not want to see you upset. I choose my own comfort over your character. But here is the hard truth. If you do not correct your child, society will do it for you. It will. And society has no patience. It has no mercy. It has no second chances. The prisons of the world are filled with people who were never told, sit down and be respectful at age 7. Broken homes and broken hearts are filled with adults who were never taught how to control their emotions at age 12. Unemployment lines are filled with people who were never told, do it again and do it properly at age 15. You had the chance to shape them while they were soft clay. You choose comfort over correction, and now the world is dealing with the result. Dear listener, the third part, Who is responsible? The question. The central role of parents. Sometimes when we see these challenges, we look outward. We say it is the school's job to teach them manners, or it is the community faults, or the internet is to blame, or the church or the mosque or the temple should do more. But let us be clear, schools do not raise children. The internet does not raise children. Social media does not raise children. Institutions support, but they do not replace. Parents raise children. This is the primary, the most sacred, and the most unshakable duty given to any human being. We read, the first and foremost duty of a parent is the education of the children and their training in all the ways of righteousness and virtue. You are the first teacher. You are the first model. What you are, they will become. How you act, they will copy. The values you hold dear, they will absorb as their own. When you show respect to others, they learn respect. When you take correction with humility, they learn humility. When you take responsibility for your mistakes, they learn accountability. When you are kind even to those who cannot help you, they learn compassion. But if you are rude, they learn rudeness. If you blame everyone else for your problems, they learn to play the victim. If you believe the world owes you something, they will believe the same. The tragedy we witness in society today, violence, lack of empathy, disregard for human life, has deep roots in the failure of this primary responsibility. We have tried to outscore the raising of our children to everyone else, and then we are shocked when the outcome is not what we hoped for. But it's never too late to change the course. It's never too late to return to the standard of true education, the standard that says we must train and educate all children, boys and girls alike, with the utmost care and attention that they may acquire all human perfection. We're not just raising children to be smart or rich or famous, we are raising them to be noble, to be trustworthy, to be kind, to be a source of comfort to the world. So let us look at the vision, raising a new race of men and women, at our part 4. Let us look at the bigger picture. The purpose of our life and the purpose of education is far greater than just personal success. We are told that the purpose of creation is for man to know his creator and to attain his station. And furthermore, the betterment of the world can be accomplished through pure and goodly deeds, through commendable and seemly conduct. When we raise a child with good character, we are not just helping that one person, we are contributing to the transformation of the entire world. Imagine a generation raised differently. A generation taught from age 5 that respect is an obligation, not an option. A generation taught that happiness comes from service and from having one's own way. A generation taught that the world owes them nothing, but they owe the world everything in terms of service and virtue. A generation that understands that character determines everything. Such a generation will not be ones causing harm. They will be the ones healing the wounds. They will be the ones building unity. They will be the ones bringing justice. But this requires a fundamental shift in how we view parenting. We must stop thinking that our job is to make them happy now. Our job is to make them capable, virtuous, and successful forever. We must stop saying, I want my child to be happy in the shallow sense, and instead say, I want my child to be worthy of happiness. True happiness comes from the virtue, from service, from being well regarded, from having a pure heart and a righteous character. Man's merit lieth in service and virtue, and not in the pageantry of wealth and riches. If you raise a child who is wealthy but dishonest, you have failed. If you raise a child who is famous but cruel, you have failed. If you raise a child who is intelligent but has no manners, no empathy, and no self-control, you have failed. Success is character. Success is nobility. Success is being a light to others. As we bring our time together to a close, let us reflect deeply on the message you have shared. We have learned clearly that character is not formed by chance, but by training. We understood that vital difference between love and indulgence, and that true kindness involves guiding the child, setting boundaries, and teaching responsibility. Let us remember these powerful words. Regard man as a mind-reaching gems of inestimable value. Education can alone cause it to reveal its treasures and enable mankind to benefit therefrom. Every child entrusted to your care is such a mine. If you polish those gems through wise training, firmness, and love, you will offer a precious gift to the whole of humanity. But if those treasures are left untrained, or if they are shaped by wrong habits, the results are harmful not only to them but to the whole society. We warned earlier, if you refuse to correct your child, society will do it for you, and society sends a heavy bill. Therefore, let us return to our sacred duty. Let us raise children with manners, with respect, and with a strong sense of accountability. Teach them that their action matter, that respect is universal, and that true freedom lies in governing one's own self. Do not manufacture future problems, raise future lights. Raise future servants of humanity. Raise noble souls who will carry the light of virtue into every corner of society. I am Kennedy Osule, and this has been a light that never fades. Until next time, may your effort be blessed, your homes be filled with wisdom, and your children shine as brilliant lamps amidst the darkness of the world.